What's up, everybody? Ron Placone here, reporting for Status Coup, and we have some breaking news for you. It looks like the UAW has reached a tentative agreement with Stellantis. You know, they've reached the tentative agreement with Ford, and on Sunday, which is tomorrow, as of the recording of this, they're going to meet. The different presidents are going to meet. The presidents of the different unions, they're all going to meet. They're going to comb through it together, work out all the details. They are going to vote on it. And then if it gets through that stage, it will be presented to all of the workers. So that's what's going on with the tentative agreement at Ford. Now there has been a tentative agreement with Stellantis. So GM is the one, still no tentative agreement. GM is the one who's still holding out here. And it looks like the tentative agreement is very similar to the one at Ford. Here's something from Stephen Greenhouse of the New York Times. Breaking: after 6 weeks on strike, the UAW reaches tentative contract deal with Stellantis that follows the model set by Ford with similar 25% wage increases. All right, so let's look at the details here. Let's see what all is going to be part of this. So this is from the AP. AP sources: auto workers in Stellantis reached tentative contract that follows the model set by Ford. So Jeep maker Stellantis, which, by the way, do you pronounce the T? Do you not pronounce the T? It's a bit of a mystery, but we'll go with Stellantis. That's what it looks like. Jeep maker Stellantis has reached a tentative agreement with the UAW union that follows a template set earlier this week by Ford. Two people with knowledge of the negotiations said Saturday. The deal, which still has to be ratified by members, leaves only General Motors without a contract with the union. Why is GM the last one? Why is that? Are they the oldest? I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure if I'm guessing either Ford or GM is the oldest, but I'm not sure which came first between that two. Anyway, the agreement could end a 6-week strike by more than 1,400 workers at Stellantis assembly plants in Michigan and Ohio, and at parts warehouses across the nation. Across the nation. Like workers at Ford, the strikers at Stellantis are expected to take down their picket lines and start returning to work in the coming days before 43,000 union members vote. The people, who asked not to be identified because they are not authorized to speak publicly about the talks, said most of the main points of the deal at Ford will carry over to Stellantis. So let's kind of a quick refresher on what that is. The Ford Pact includes 25% in general wage increases over the next 4.5 years. Now, remember, it's for 4.5 years, not 4 years, which is better in terms of striking in the future, as Chris Penna from the UAW told us a few days ago here on Status Coup. So 25% in general wage increases over the next 4.5 years for top assembly plant workers, 11% coming once the deal is ratified. Workers will also get cost of living pay that would bring the raises to over 30%, with top assembly plant workers making more than $40 an hour. At Stellantis, top skill workers now make around $31 per hour. Like the Ford contract, the Stellantis deal would run through April 30th, 2028. So this does look pretty similar to the Ford deal. We've been talking about the Ford deal. You know, the main bullet points are: they got COLA back. That was something that they wanted to get back, that they were told they wouldn't get back. COLA is the cost of living. They did get that back. They're getting an 11% increase right away, 25% over the next 4.5 years. When you factor in the cost of living, that gets it to over 30. It's in the 30 to 33% range is what most people are saying. Now, before, the companies had offered them 10. They said, we're going to give you 10%. Which over the next 4.5 years, a 10% raise over that amount of time, that's basically cost of living. That's basically nothing. That's more or less just a slight increase for cost of living throughout that span of time, because the general cost of living increase is in the vein of 3%. So instead, they're going up 11% right away, 25% over the next 4.5 years, and then they're getting cost of living, which bumps it up even higher. So they were offered 10. They started at 40. They were asking for 40. They were offered 10, and it looks like the offer right now is in the 30s. So, you know, that's definitely a positive sign. That's a sign in that things are moving in a good direction. Now, some of the concerns folks have expressed is the details related to pensions. Is every worker going to get a pension? What's the situation there? And those concerns are still kind of in the ethers. Because here's basically the summary of what they got at Ford, assuming this is pretty much the same thing. 25% raise over 4.5 years, 11% raise at ratification, 68% jump in starting pay, 33% increase in the top wage, a 150% raise for temps, increased retirement benefits, and restoration of COLA. All positive signs. However, some questions remain. Well, what's the situation with pensions? What's the situation with the tiered system? It sounds like they're going to be getting rid of the tiered worker system in some places. Is that across the board? Those are the questions that we're still waiting to answer. And we're also still waiting to see all the details in the Stellantis agreement. However, according to some sources that have been leaked to the AP and elsewhere, the details are very similar to Ford. So if it is the same deal, that's all that's going to be included there. So this is a reason for definitely a reason for optimism, definitely a sign of progress. Is this going to be ratified? It'll be up to the workers. Here at Status Coup, we've been covering this a lot. We've been getting a lot of feedback from workers, and some are just people giving their take on it. Some are actual workers for the UAW. And some have said they plan to vote for it. Some have said they don't plan to vote for this. When we took a poll Thursday on the show, the majority opinion was, well, we kind of want to wait and see everything that's in it before we cast a ballot one way or another, which personally, I think that's the approach that makes the most sense here. I think let's wait and see everything that's in it. Before one would cast a yes vote or a no vote. That would kind of be my take. Well, that is my take as an opinion, and that would be my strategy if I were a worker voting on it. I would want to see all the details. I think there is definitely some positive, encouraging things going on here. Is this going to be the final deal? The workers will decide. What this is telling us, one way or another, is that this type of striking has been effective. The strategic striking has been effective. Keep in mind, the reason they've done it the way they've done it is because they don't want the strike fund to run out. If they were to shut it all down at once, which certainly there's a case to be made for that, their concern was, well, if they did that, the strike fund would run out and they wouldn't be able to wait out the companies. The companies could hold out longer than they could. So instead, they did a strategic strike. Basically, you're playing cards. You got a couple aces up your sleeves. You're just sort of moving strategically. And that has proven to be effective. They're getting more and more of things that they were told they couldn't expect to get. Things that they were told, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. Well, they're pretty much they've already been offered a good bit of it. So we'll see what happens here. We'll keep an eye on this. We, of course, will let you know more of the details on the Stellantis deal as soon as we know it. They're going to be finding out more of the Ford deal tomorrow. That is Sunday, the 29th of October. So they'll be finding out more of the Ford deal then. I don't know if they'll also be finding out more of the details about the Stellantis deal because, we spoke to Chris Penna on Thursday, and the Stellantis deal just happened today. So this is all breaking in real time, folks. This is unfolding right before our eyes, but that's a little bit of breaking news for you. Stellantis has offered a tentative agreement. It is allegedly, according to two sources that have spoken to the AP, it is pretty much mirroring the Ford agreement. We'll see if that is actually the case here very shortly. And this is Ron Placone for Status Coup, signing out.